What do you do for a good time?
I'll go fishing. There's a lot of fishing you can do here.
Yeah.
You got Peace River, you got some good catfishing out there, and hit rodeos.
Gosh, we've been here since '84.
Oh,
I've been
wow.
here since '65.
Well, guys, today we're going to do things a little bit differently. Instead of just focusing on one town, we are going to go to multiple towns today, little cities, whatever you want to call them. I think a few of these are going to be unincorporated towns. We're here in the start of the video, which is going to be called Homeland, Florida. It's part of Polk County, and it is a tiny town. It was established circa 1880, population about 348 as of 2023. And it is a cool little town. There's actually a small little heritage park where they have preserved some of the old school. This was a settlement town, but the settlers didn't last real long because they had a booming town called Bartow north of here, and then Fort Meade south of here. We're gonna make our way down to Fort Meade, but I just wanna show you this place because it's actually pretty cool, and it's gonna be a great start to today's video. But here we are at the post office. This is a tiny post office, the only functioning post office of the town. Homeland, Florida. There's really not a downtown area. There is more or less a general store over here across the street, which was mainly the grocery store. And I don't think it's functioning, although there's a lot of stuff behind it. But it's just one of those cool little quaint towns like I like to go to, enjoy seeing somewhere I've never been before. And the people are super friendly, way different than what I'm used to in living in larger cities. Everybody waves at you, everyone talks to you. But this was their old general store. Looks like it was established in 1915. See on the building up there. Now I'm assuming this was their general store or grocery store. And it has survived nicely. Decent looking rocking chairs. I bet people still enjoy sitting in those. Little tin roof. Okay, so we're at a place called Homeland Heritage Park. This is where they have preserved a lot of the old heritage, the old structures, the old schoolhouse, and I believe a church. Paying homage to basically the town, because like I said, this was a farming, agricultural town, but people started migrating to the bigger cities. This is where a lot of the pioneers first settled, first began. But let's go explore this together. Let's go check it out and see what we can find. So this is the Homeland School, typical wooden pioneer school. This is the oldest surviving school in Polk County, 1878 to 1956. This has been placed in a National Register of Historic Places. So this was Bethel Academy. So the town was called Bethel until it was changed to Homeland. But it was, let's see, Homeland School was built in 1878. Colonel John Snoddy began teaching at the Bethel community. Yeah, and they changed the name to Homeland in 1885. How would you like to have that name, Snoddy? Couldn't have been fun when you're little. Population grew rapidly. 60 students. Some of the original pictures. Wow. Looks like they have some of the original flooring. You know, they do something in there, maybe hold classes or banquets or something. Now, correct me if I'm wrong to any of you guys out there who know a lot more about construction and building than I do, but my understanding is when the glass has the magnifying kind of look to it, it's probably the original panes, because that is not how my glass looks at my house, which is impressive if they were able to maintain that. Wooden frames around it. But I've seen that in a lot of the old structures I've been to, that wavy kind of magnification from the glass. Beautiful little property here. Look at the size of these oak trees. I mean, those are original trees. That's incredible. I can't remember what I found when I did my research on the oak trees, but something with that diameter has been around for several hundred years. Incredible. Look at that old church. Really neat. Old steeple. Homeland Methodist Church. It was established 1875, originally called Bethel Methodist Church. It was about a half a mile west of where we presently see this. Amazing. I would love to have seen them move this thing. Crude structure without refinements or ornamentation. 1887, the charter members decided time to build a more suitable building. Very cool. Beautiful place. Let's see if we can see inside the windows. Show you guys the inside. Let's see. There's no chairs. Didn't think so. I can't really get over to it. The Rawlerson House, early affluent rural architecture built by the Blocker family of 1880s, 1900 to 1987. So this would have been considered an affluent homeowner. Very neat. Rural living built in the 1880s by Mr. and Mrs. Oscar Blocker of Hillsborough County, although it may more accurately called the Blocker-Rowson home. Interesting. He was a prospector and developer of phosphate mines. So just keep in mind that this area is a huge phosphate industry. Very neat. Unfortunately, nothing is open. I don't know, have they just discontinued showing these as a collection of museum artifacts? They just let you see the outside, which is fine, but look at this place. What a neat looking place. Give me that somewhere in the mountains. I would live there today. English log cabin. Cornelius, the old man Jack. English log cabin originally located in Winston, Florida, built 1888. The land had been purchased by Hackney English. Cabin built by Cornelius English and his brother James Jackson. Old man Jack. Until the 1900s. Single pen log cabin. Prime example of the earliest type of Polk County pioneer dwelling. Single pane log cabin would have been added to and would perfectly adapted to the Florida climate. Basic materials, skills at hand, simple shelters, quickly erected, no fancy detail. Warmer months, the porch became the place to be. Daily chores were done, sometimes at night. Sleeping on the porch would be cooler than inside, although the mosquitoes would carry you away. Beautiful. Let's check it out. What a neat place. Look at this. Looks like some bugs have gotten to that. I wish it was open. Wow, neat little windows. This is really, really cool. Just amazing. Simple, but sturdy as can be. I wish I could get in there. That's neat. I peeked in that window of the home that was considered the affluent home, and there was a mannequin in there. Scared the heck out of me. A little spooky. Old English pole barn. Focal point of daily life. English pole barn, early example of settlers. 1890, the pole was a focal point for daily life. Construction for structures like this, usually poles, a sapling, supported by large logs. Very neat. Syrup kettles, used to make sugarcane syrup. Look at this stuff. Old dolly. Not sure what that is. It's an old wagon. That's neat. Oh, it looks like this thing's loaded up with hay, or if that's the way they were insulating it, between boards with hay. Yeah, that's neat. A lot of tools inside of these places. Oh, those are the kettles. Gosh, those are much bigger than I thought they were. The picture didn't do them justice. Those things are gigantic. Making sugarcane or syrup. This old log for horses to drink out of. That's pretty neat. We think work is tough today. Can you imagine plowing fields from dusk to dawn on this old equipment. Probably didn't have much for a shower. Definitely weren't getting into a warm shower. Going to bed, doing it all over again, 6, 7 days a week. Amazing. I took this little dead-end road to see this beautiful lake back there, but I can't see it. But take a look at some of these homes. They still got the wooden structure, tin roof. Really neat, really old. Simple life. Sometimes I'm telling you that might just be the key. Less stress, kill you slower. There's an old wagon. Let's go drive around through the town. Well, what's of the town, see some of the houses, and then we'll head to Fort Meade. So let me give you just a quick little rundown on some of the stats here. As of 2023, like I mentioned earlier, the population is roughly 348 people. Now this is as of 2023 again. Median household income, $65,000. Now the median property value is roughly $163,000. Now it's either homes like this, or you have a really nice home. I've seen a few of them on lakes that are just beautiful. And then you have some manufactured homes. Now the cost of living is notably lower than the average in Florida, although they didn't have a straight up statistic for it. And the same thing with crime rate. There's not a statistic for the crime rate, but just a neat little town. And that's it. Some really old buildings, old structures. Now, off to the next town. Hi, how are you?
Good. Are you the honey man?
No, ma'am.
No?
I'm just doing a little video on the town here. Are you a local?
Yes.
Oh, wow. How long have you lived here in Homeland?
Well, we live on a farm down this road, but gosh, we've been here since '84. I've
wow.
been here since '65.
Do you enjoy living here?
Oh,
Getting away from everything?
Oh,
I came
yes.
out from Tampa, and I bet this is just the beautiful place to
It's
be.
heaven.
I bet it is.
It's heaven.
And this is cool. You don't see this very
On
often.
the honor society.
That is
the
so
honor
neat.
society.
Is it good honey?
Yes, it is.
I bet it is. Wow. Oh, look, in the jam. That is really cool.
Avocados
Something
are
like my
$1.
grandmother used to make.
What kind of jam is that?
Strawberry and
Ooh, yeah.
very
I'm here
neat.
for the honey, but I don't.
Avocados.
I don't know
That
how
is
much
just
it
the
is.
neatest.
I think it's $20 for this.
Is pushed fully into box. Interesting. I wonder if it,
Doesn't say how much.
oh, you can actually Venmo. I'm gonna actually have to do that. Very neat. Now, I'm not sure if this is a bed and breakfast or not. It doesn't really look like one, but it's a beautiful old structure. Nah, this can't be. The sign said air or bed and breakfast. That must be old or something. There's no way. This might be someone's private home. I'm not gonna go up there and be respectful, but man, what a neat home. I'd love to know more about it. The old little statue over there. Very neat. Well, I found the Airbnb, and it wasn't the large structure up front. It's right over there, but I'm pretty sure that is a private residence. Good thing I didn't go snooping around. I could have gotten shot. They don't mess around out here in Polk County. But this is such a beautiful little place. Quaint little structure, tin roof. Just the prettiest little property. Nice little garden here. Talk about getting away from the hustle and bustle of life. The garden cottage. What a neat place. How are you?
How can I help you?
Just out doing a video on Homeland, and I noticed your sign that said bed and breakfast. At first, I honestly wasn't sure if that was it. I was like, that can't be it. And I see this is beautiful. Are you the owner?
I am, yeah.
How you doing?
I have one rental up there on the porch.
I'm Darren. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Darren.
Uh,
And then this, we rent.
this is
This
beautiful.
one, and then we got a room up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. This is all your property.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Great place. I was just talking to a lady up by the honey. Is the honey yours as well?
It is.
And that's very neat. So neat. I came over from Tampa. That's not the kind of stuff we see very often.
Oh, yeah.
Very
it
cool.
works. It works, you know.
How long have you lived here?
Since 2004.
2004. And what, you might have asked what brought you out here? Or?
Well, actually, so we were living in Lakeland, and we just were looking, we needed a bigger house for our family, and we found this place.
Beautiful.
It's the right price, and I was working in Lakeland, but it's not that far from Lakeland.
Right.
You know,
So you still commute in?
Actually, no, now I'm working from home.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah,
Beautiful.
that's good. Yeah.
Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I didn't want you to think I was snooping around too much, but
yeah, I just happened to be out. I was taking a little break, and I'm trying to revive my camellias, and so so I was doing a little trimming. But it's
Great.
fine. That's fine.
very cool. Thank you, sir. Pleasure meeting you. Very, very nice gentleman. Beautiful place. I'll give you some information on the address in the description below. But such a cool little place. Let's take a look. You could see a little fire pit to hang out at. Just gorgeous. Old structure over there, a little old shed. But nice. So if you're ever cutting through the Central Florida area, just on the south side of Lakeland, great little bed and breakfast. So welcome to Fort Meade, the next town on the trip today. And this town was established in 1849 as a U.S. Army outpost. And behind me, I don't know much about this train, but the Atlantic coastline, those look like passenger car. Very neat, very old. I'd like to know a little more about this. Let's see if we can find something that tells us about this. So this was a big hub, and this had a lot of cattle driving here. This is one of what they call the true cracker countries, where they would be on the horseback driving cattle. They call them crackers because of using the whip, always making that cracking sound. But look at this big bucket here for the phosphate mines. That's huge. Gosh, I couldn't imagine the size of the crane that can pick that thing up.
The two green cars are 1926 Pullmans. The first car was a passenger car that had seats in it. The second car was a luggage car.
Oh, okay.
The phosphate company bought all of this actually, but not together. But bought them so that the workers, the phosphate workers, could go from place to place but have a place to live.
Oh, wow. So that's what they did. Okay.
So they changed the passenger car to a dining car. They changed the luggage car to sleepers. They put bunk beds, very rough looking bunk beds. That's what was in there.
Very neat. And that is that the engine that pulled the train?
No,
Okay.
I don't think any of this actually went together. From what I understand, there is like a graveyard of trains in Macon, Georgia, and you can go up there and buy what you need.
Oh.
Pick and choose.
So you live here in town?
Yes, sir.
All right. In Fort Meade itself?
Yes, sir.
All right. What do you do for a living, if you mind me asking? What's the industry out here?
Me, I work for Hardy County at the sewage plant, and then I also work for the fire department here in
Cool.
Fort Meade.
Very nice.
If you want work around here, it's mainly phosphate.
Yeah,
Phosphate, that's in cattle, okay.
Orange groves is about what you get.
I just came through Homeland. That was a pretty neat little town.
Oh,
Yeah, I
did you
like
go see the
all
church?
I did.
I love that.
Beautiful.
The first room you passed by on your right was the men's lounge. And that little bitty room was their bathroom. See that little bitty room?
Oh, yes.
Goodness.
We can't go in the caboose because we're fixing it up for the phosphate exhibit, but it has a bathroom in it like that, and it is I don't even know how.
Especially a bunch of men together.
Yeah. Better be on the diet.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Wow.
they did. Now these are the original tables that the men ate on. But you know, we ladies have to fancy things up a little bit.
Question for you. Was this air conditioned?
We have tried to figure that out. It does have vents
Okay.
right there. You can see where the vents are. Now, whether that was when you're traveling, the air was sent down this way, but it is air conditioned now, of course.
Feels good now.
Yeah. Now, they put in the kitchen and the counters and all of this for their cooking. This room over here was the ladies' lounge. It was set up like the one there. It is now preparation area and holds the air conditioner. This is a good old gas stove or gas.
Oh, they used gas back then on a train, huh?
Well, yeah, I guess so. And this is gives you some idea of them putting all of this on this track.
Is it okay to go through?
Absolutely. Now, this would not have been a floor. This would have been open. You'd be seeing the ground. You'd be stepping.
Oh boy.
Stepping between the cars. Yes. Let me move out of here. I feel like we're doing right now.
General George Meade. So that's what he looked like, huh? What do you like about living here?
What I like about living here is just the people here.
I've noticed people are super nice, like yourself. Everyone's super friendly.
If they see you broke down on the side of the road, they won't think twice about to stop and help you.
That's so
Everybody's
nice.
here to help each other.
And it's a great for the family, I'm sure. Not all the craziness that happens in the other places and cities. Very cool.
Nothing bad happens here.
That is nice.
Schools here is real nice. Football team's even better.
Yeah? And what do you do on the weekends? What do you do for a good time?
I'll go fishing. There's a lot of fishing you can do here.
Yeah.
You got Peace River, you got some good catfishing out there, and hit rodeos. We go
Oh,
to
really?
rodeos.
Wow. Very neat. Well, appreciate you talking.
Yes, sir.
Be good.
Like 10 years. Waiting for money, waiting for things. It was donated to the Historical Society, which only had like 7 members at the time, but they got it together until it became what we have today.
What year was it built?
1885.
1885. This home that we're standing in right now.
Yes, it was an academy now.
An
You see
academy.
the high school, that big long picture.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Have you been to Fort Meade? Is this your first time?
First time.
Okay. Well, you know, we have a red light.
A single red light in town.
Best way, everything is, you go to the red light. Well, this is Broadway. It goes all the way through. It turns into 98 East, and you can go to Cross Creek that way. Well, when you go on the other side of the red light, about 2 blocks, that building stood from 1912 to the 1960s. At the back of that property, this building was set up. And so they needed that property, so they moved it behind Wawa's is the best way to put it. And then when Mr. Barnett, who had a filling station, needed more land, he donated the building to the Historical Society. So that's how it got here. We're on city property, but the building itself has been around. It's amazing. Pocket doors, the woodwork, all of this. These would have been assembly rooms. At one time, they had tuition like $10 or so, and they decided to let free education come in, and you could be on one floor while the tuition people were on the other. And said, no, that's not going to work. So then they said, just bring everybody here. So for that would have been about 20 years that it was the academy. Then it was moved. But let me bring it up to snuff. Fort Meade is the first Fort Meade. South Dakota is second, and Maryland is third. When I worked at the Chamber of Commerce, of course, people would see Fort Meade and they'd call and they'd say, "Is the airport snowed in today?" And I'd say, you know, because that's all they knew was Fort Meade, Maryland, but that's the third.
Okay.
And George Meade was not at either of those. South Dakota, just a sideline, South Dakota is noted because that is where some dignitaries from Washington came to see the Army post in South Dakota. And they raised the flag. Well, of course, they wanted to do something special for these people, these visitors. So they got a band together and say, play that song, Stars and Stripes, whatever that is. Wasn't the national anthem at the time. But the people who had come from Washington were so impressed with the flag being raised to the tune of this song that they said, we need to do that everywhere. So that was the first place that took place.
No kidding.
So, and then he was not in Maryland either. Somebody closed the door the other day and this fell down, so let's hope it doesn't anymore. But he was.
Now this is Mr. Meade.
This is Mr. Meade. He was a second lieutenant in the Corps of Engineers. He was a young man. That is what the fort looked like. It was not John Wayne.
Really? That was the fort?
That was the fort, outbuildings.
Oh, wow.
It was first by the river. And then this man, Stonewall Jackson, was here. His job was to dismantle the fort and move it behind McDonald's. Don't you wish, he probably wished it was there. But we have Heritage Park, and so that's the location of the second fort. Same buildings, but second location. Next to the river is where all of these artifacts came. There's a mobile home park there now.
Oh, wow.
And the man who gave us these, he had, oh my goodness, he had boxes and boxes. And when they were building the new bridge, which is just east of town, they found all kinds of things.
Well, pipe smoking was big back then.
Yes, and this is my favorite thing because you had a clay pipe, I'm smoking, you come by and you say, I'd sure like to have a draw. I take it, I'd break off the end, throw it down, hand you the pipe, and on until there was nothing but the bowl left.
Ah.
And Mr. Doble, who gave us these, had hundreds, if not thousands, of these little pieces. We've been told by 2 archaeologists that the soil, I don't know if it's the phosphate or what the makeup is the best preserver of artifacts that they have found. So we're very fortunate in that respect. But all of this was down at the river. Now the river is called Peace River, but it is not Peace River. It is Talachopco Hatchie. If you see Hatchie on the end of the word, that's river. But Talachopco means place where long peas grow. And evidently they ate them, or at least they identified those peas to the river. So it wasn't Peace River, it was Peas River. Just a
What a
interesting
neat fact.
Yeah, just little things like that. Native American, indigenous people that were here and how they came. I was at a reunion and he said for thousands of years they came here, and I said, I heard that wrong. I said, you meant hundreds? He said, no, thousands. So when he came to our Lunch and Learn and spoke, he had maps and everything. And what brought all of these people, all of these indigenous people here was chert. Chert is a black, glassy looking stone that you can make weapons or tools.
Never heard of it. Interesting.
If you go out to Peace River Park, just east of town, just as you get out of the car, you can look down and you can see chert. But there was such a supply here, and the other parts of Florida did not have that. There were places, but not to the extent that it was here. So this was like the Fort Meade Mall, let's go to the mall. And they would have their swap things, swap tales, and visit with each other. But they came because of the church. They had a temple here. There were villages here. This is where the main and wealthiest people of that era lived. So it was very interesting to hear the history and how important this area was to the indigenous people.
To the tribes and stuff. Very neat.
Yeah. Now, I want to introduce you to,
What is this?
we're going to put that in the caboose. When
Oh,
we open
okay.
that up.
That is neat.
It was
What
over
is it?
there in the train station for years, and then they emptied everything out. And a man got it, and he said, it needs to be in the train, not at my house. So that's a good thing.
Wow.
Now, this is Willoughby Tillis. He came from Georgia. He lived in North Florida. Left his wife and family there, came down here and got him another family. But when you walk through that door, it's 1849. and you are maybe 17, 18 years old, and your wife is maybe 15, 16, you have 2 children, one on the way, and everything you own is in a wagon being pulled by a mule. So your whole outlook has got to be like Willoughby Tillis. You don't tell him what to do. He's come here and he is going to do it his way. You accept that or you leave. But he was a character. In 1856, you have to also remember, you were talking about Bowling Green and Wauchula. Okay, Bowling Green is in Seminole land. Fort Meade is in settler land, but that line that was drawn from coast to coast was the assignment of George Meade by his superior, General Twiggs, to go find places to build forts and outposts. And the general had a friend, Mr. Darling, sounds like Lady in the Tramp, but anyway, said, I have a friend down in Bowling Green has already got an outpost. Let's just make it there. It'd be the best place. But George Meade had already found the place here. He had to convince his superior officer, that's not a good place. That is on the wrong side of that line. I have a place here. And when he came up here, he was so sold on it that he said, that's a good thing. And George Meade had even written his name, Fort Meade, on there.
No
and
kidding.
He said, you did a good job. We'll just name it Fort Meade. And this is the place where he actually, I won't say he lived, but he stayed long enough for the men to come. And they
Here in this town.
Well, there wasn't. It was
What?
this. You'll hear that Fort Meade.
It was just this.
It was just that.
That is fascinating.
And it was a state militia.
Wow. That is so fascinating. Now, Mr. Tillis, I read something about Mr. Tillis in Homeland.
Okay.
Was he a part of Homeland at all, or?
It wouldn't surprise me. That's not where he lived. I was going to say it in 1856, when there was lots of contention between the Seminoles. They didn't want you tell me all of a sudden I can't cross this line when I've been going back and forth. Plus, you have the church. There's all this going on. So there was lots of contention. He lived right on the line. To be honest, he lived in my backyard.
Really?
Yes, and I'm 3 miles south.
That's cool.
My husband's grandfather would take them out and say, okay, this is where the Tillis household was. Now, they got him to move closer to town at one point, but that was not an easy task just because of his personality, But
Sounds like it.
I was just going to say, in 1856, there had been all of these attacks, and the militia said, okay, y'all have to come to the fort. We can't keep going out in different directions. We don't have enough people to protect everybody. Well, they had a hard time getting Willoughby Tillis to load up his family and bring them into town. But they finally did, but it was rainy, and there were like 1 million children to him. And he said, I can't handle this, I'm going home. So he took his family back to their house, their homestead. It is said that there was a tree that the Seminoles would climb up and watch everything that was going on. His personality and Oxion, who was the sub-chief, they had already had head-to-head battles, not necessarily hand to fist, but they didn't agree. So there was contention there. He goes back home. One of the children had been sick. He stays, so go ahead and go milk the cows, and I'll stay here with the children. So the wife, a slave, and her son went out to where the cows were so they could milk the cows. As they adjusted their eyes, they thought, feels like somebody's watching me. And as they got adjusted, there were between 40 and 50 of the Seminoles attacked. They ran back to the house. The militia here at the fort heard the shots. It's about 3 miles. They heard the shots. They sent out 5 men. If you're familiar with this area, Alderman Carlton is Wauchula. He has people who his descendants served in the state legislature, and it's his family that got the monument put at Monument Park, right on the other side of the red light.
Okay.
But there were 5 sent out, 3 were immediately killed, he being one of them. So they heard the noise from the fort. They sent word out to Bartow, which is Fort Frazier, 13 miles away. It took them 2 days to get here. 2 more are killed. This location, not at the monument on that property though, is where they are buried in a common grave.
Really?
And that's called the Battle of Peace River. We have part of the New Testament and part of the Old Testament. And somebody walked by, a church was throwing them away. It is 1799.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible.
And if you have all of them, you have got quite an investment.
Wow, that is incredible. Look at the paper.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really want to touch it much, but that is incredible.
Look at the
What year did you say these?
1799.
These Bibles were made. Wow, very neat.
And at the time, it was the largest Bible that was available.
Look at the size of this one here. That is incredible. Neat.
But I want you to look at this. Look at the word Jesus.
Wow.
And he didn't kiss him, he kissed him.
J-E-F-U-S.
You see, he kissed him.
And kiffed him.
And this is it. You
That's
say that
neat.
3 times. Swords. I'm not sure how. It was,
Now, I'm completely oblivious to this stuff. Why is it spelled inaccurately?
we actually had someone whose daughter majored in this. He got her on the phone as we were standing here, and she said it's simply the grammatical rule of that day.
Wow.
Now, how they decided which S was going to be an F, I don't know, but that gives you an idea.
Very neat.
Yeah. Yes. You'll go down, you'll see the Episcopal Church on your left, which is that picture that you saw in there.
Yes, ma'am.
And then there's a road right there, and then you'll see a big gray house. That is called the Reed House. And this was found in the right-of-way when the road was being widened and fixed up. And
Okay.
so they brought it here, and it's a stepping stone so the ladies could step out of the carriage.
So this would be next to the carriage, and you could get
Yes.
in and out of the carriage. That's cool. I
Yeah.
always kind of wondered about that. I guess it makes sense. We
Yes.
didn't have steps, really.
Yes.
Neat.
But that's where that came from. But it was under so much dirt, and when they got to removing things, they found it.
What a
And they
great
put it there,
town.
like, what is this? And somebody said, "Hey, I know what that is."
Well, you have been a wealth
Oh,
of information.
Thank you so
so
much for coming. Yeah.
And what is your name again?
Priscilla
Priscilla.
Priscilla
Oh, beautiful.
Perry.
I got a. What is your last name?
Perry.
Perry,
Not Preston,
okay.
Though I get called that a lot.
Okay. Now, she was one of the sweetest ladies I have met in any of the towns I've been to. And wow, she was a history book all in one. Amazing. She was great. So here is the town. Cool little murals. And like she said, there is just one light in this town. You blink and you miss it. But a really cool little town. A lot more involved, a lot more history than I thought. Honestly, she just enlightened me so much. I would love to find someone like that in every town I go to. Now, I found the site of the Fort Meade. This is where the fort was built that I was showing the picture of in the museum. This is the site, which is now a park. But the site of Fort Meade, built by Lieutenant George G. Meade, later became commanding general of the Union forces during the Civil War. Florida Mounted Volunteer Troops. And they have a little monument here in memory of Lieutenant General Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson. Now, I'm not seeing the monument that they were talking about that I saw. Having a hard time finding that. But what a cool town. Let's take a look at some of the other parts of the town. We'll drive around, look at some of the homes, and we will get going. So we found the W. Henry Lewis House. This house was built in 1901 by pioneer cattleman and financier and philanthropist. W. Henry Lewis, 1860 to 1940. Lewis was born in Thomasville, Georgia. Came to Florida as a young man. He married Sally Singletary in 1887. 6 of their children lived to be adults. Lewis was a keen businessman, successful in cattle raising, citrus, and real estate in partnership with Doc Lightsey. He was a leading cattleman in Polk County, owning thousands of head of cattle, thousands of acres of land alongside Kissimmee River. Lewis held interest in several Polk County banks, helped to organize and serve as a president of the first state bank of Fort Meade. He was an advocate of good roads and one of 3 of trustees for $1 million road bond issue in Polk County, the first of its kind in Florida. Lewis chose Fort Meade, the center of his cattle enterprise, as home. After his death, his house was purchased by his daughter Virginia and her husband. They lived here until 1998. This 2-story Lewis home combines elements of the colonial revival and Queen Anne architectural styles, and was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2012. Now, I will say, I do think it's a private residence. There's cars in the driveway behind it. So I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone, but wow, what a neat home. Huge. And this is what wealth looked like in the late 1800s. Really neat. Beautiful property, beautiful oaks. The old tin roof. Wish we could see inside the place, honestly. So according to the census population, as of 2023, they have a population of about 5,172 people. Median household income is around $35,000. Median property value, $141,000. And the poverty rate is hovering around 23%. Well, guys, time got away from me as it often does. I had some other great locations I wanted to show you. What I'm gonna do is make a part 2 to this video. We're gonna continue going south. I didn't want this video to be too long and too drawn out. There's some other great places I wanna show you. Do me a favor, tell me which town you enjoyed the most, what you liked about them. And until our next adventure, I will see you real soon.